So this is the place where I decide to throw an exception called runtime error. I populate this exception with a string that contains information about the error, but I would like to improve this code by also including precise location of the error. So quick demonstration. In in function function in file line okay, so I just created an output statement where I print in function underscore underscore uppercase function underscore underscore in file, which is again double underscore uppercase file, and line. So the preprocessor stage of our program build, which resolves all of these includes, also provides information about functions and information about the source files by simply generating names of functions, names of files, and also generates a line number information for every line in the file. So let's take a look at this. Right, if I have this statement, now I can say build and run it, and again Control Z to create empty input. And now let me copy and paste one more time from here and make it well visible. So the output that I get from my execution, let's just try it right here. Right, the output that I get, the output now looks like this. So you see now it says in function display elements, in file such and such, main.cpp, line 22. So if I press Control G to go to this line, Control V, paste line number, I jump to my line number. You can see my line number is displayed right here, line 22, right? So I see that, oh, this is exactly where this line was populated in the text message, right? So this is an example of using function, file, and line macros which provide information about the source. So let's, instead of printing this, right, let's add this information to the runtime error information, so that this information is not just printed here for, I don't know, for debugging purposes maybe, right, but rather is retained inside runtime error. How can we do this? All right, so let's give it a try. So with this, what we're gonna do, I will split this into multiple lines like this, right? So that it's I don't know, formatted like this maybe. And first I will say, and I will essentially copy and paste what I just did on top of this. and try to modify it and say in function I can include new line if I want to. Then I will continue to say in file. Now notice that I'm getting rid of output statements because I'm not printing it. I'm not sending anything to cout. I'm trying to construct a long string. Okay, so now I get rid of this output statement. I get rid of this output statement, and I get rid of this output statement, and of course I get rid of the semicolon. And I continue with my message. Vector is empty, right? But this is what we're going to do. We're going to copy from Stack Overflow this sample that we need to convert the line number to a string, and this is the way it's done. We're going to copy and paste this little fragment, and instead of using line, we're going to use another macro as line, which is configured by this definitions, and use it right here. Right? So we're no longer printing information here. Instead, the promise is, and the hope is, that our runtime error will include all of this tremendously useful information about both what is the reason why this error occurred, and also what was the function, what was the file, and what was the line. Let's see if we can build this. As long as it builds, it should work fine. So I will run it. Again, pressing Ctrl Z not to enter any elements, and you see what happened. This output was created, but this time it was captured by our runtime exception object, and we were able to display it as a result of printing what, and this is what got printed, right? So it's very, very similar. Okay, so we're going to show it like this. It's pretty much identical. Again, in function display elements, in file such and such, on such and such line, this is what happened, right? Error vector is empty. So just remember that this little technique is very is something that can tremendously improve your tracking of errors, as opposed to just saying error vector is empty, but you could be doing it in multiple places potentially in your source code, even in different files. But if you add this information, which is available freely, about the function, the file, and most importantly, the line number inside the source file, then you can help yourself significantly to trace the errors and be able to quickly, hopefully, or quicker, fix the original problems. The only little trick is here to add these macros definitions, which are actually coming from this URL. Right, let's just include the URL here, right? I copied and pasted these macros definitions from this URL. I will resize it to make it all visible. This is from our good friends at Stack Overflow, which provide a quick way of converting the line macro, which is an integral value, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, converting this line number to a string. And then they say use this string version of line macro instead of the line. It's like double concatenation issue here with the preprocessor. So this is how C preprocessor works, and but once you make this definition somewhere in one of your header files, then you can quickly do something like this and report your errors precisely, like this is the actual location that generated the error. It is not always a good idea to show this error with all information like this to the user. However, it's still okay, but it's possible to then, instead of just printing it, perhaps write this information into a log file and somehow organize keeping track of errors within the application, right? But this is so far our main function, right? And so this is something that chapter 5 talks, the entire chapter of the book refers to different situations related to all sorts of errors. And I just wanted to show you a little bit of my technique and my advice to you, how you can succeed, doing all of this error handling. Because I believe that starting with chapter 5, most of the book samples will simply say main with try and catch, right? Like this runtime error, and this would allow you to never lose track of your errors.